Do you ever get countered because you keep throwing lazy jabs because your shoulder is just on fire and you're super fatigued? I know I used to do that a lot, but this one secret little technique that I implemented got rid of my jab fatigue completely. And in this video, I'm going to break down how you can do that. I'm Ollie. I've had over 30 amateur boxing fights, coached over 160 people online, and this video is about that little trick. I'm going to kick this off with a pretty violent analogy. Imagine I've got a massive scaffold pole and I'm just poking it in your face like this, right? One, it's going to hurt a lot. And two, it's got so much rigidity that it's not going to like snap. Now imagine I've got like a tiny little twig and I'm just poking it in your face, like a thin twig. It's just going to snap because of this like pressure of it making impact. Well, to get rid of this jab technique, you need your arm to be more like a pole than a twig. And that's where this trick comes in. Okay, so why does your jab actually get fatigued? It's because there's too much tension and pressure going into this anterior delt, the front muscle on your deltoid or on your shoulder. Right, when I throw a jab like this, all of the pressure that's put on the end of my knuckles by my opponent's face gets transferred all into this shoulder here. This is like jabbing someone in the face with a twig, right? There's a lot of ability to this, but there's not a lot of rigidity in my punch because all the force is being put on this tiny little shoulder muscle here, okay? And you'll notice that my arm isn't in line with my stance. So to get a jab like a long scaffold pole, super rigid, we need to get our arm from this position here onto the power line. The power line is where we stack all of our joints behind our knuckles. And when we do that, we have way more resistance behind our knuckles. So if I'm throwing a jab like this, all of that tension is here. I need to move this final position of my jab so that I'm stacking not only my elbow joint, not only my shoulder joint, but my rear hip joint all the way into that weight I've got on my back foot. Now I've got way more resistance, okay? The resistance isn't all just coming down onto my lead shoulder like this, where it can snap like a twig. It's now going all the way through my entire body down to my back foot, okay? And that's because I made the adjustment from here to here. The key components of this is your arm or your shoulder moving up to your chin, right? Because now there's less tension here. There's actually no tension in my lead shoulders or here as I'm supporting my arm. But it's also moving my hip back and rotating my body so it's pretty much completely side on with the direction that I'm punching, okay? If I land my jab like this, I've now got all of that resistance like I would have using a metal pole to jab you in the face, okay? So providing the resistance is what takes the pressure off this shoulder, therefore meaning you eliminate the fatigue and you get way more power in your shot because there's way more resistance. So the aim then is stacking our joints behind our knuckles, but it's all well and good me just saying that. How would you actually do that in a fast-paced fighting situation? You need to get the entire kinetic chain of your body in sync and working at the right time so that when your knuckles do meet the target, they're not meeting the target like this and causing all the pressure to land on your shoulder, but they're landing like this, okay, where all the pressure comes down into your back foot and you're using the ground as support as opposed to just your shoulder. And that actually starts not in the arm. It's not me moving my arm to here that does it. It starts with me moving my hip more open. So this is closed. This is open. When we move it more open, this is stage one, is the hip going back first. Once the hip's gone back, then my upper body can come and follow it. Then my arm can come from the position it was here up to here, okay, without having to use any muscles in my shoulder to really throw my jab. That also means that a jab needs to be super relaxed because obviously tension in your arm means that, you know, you've got to fuel those muscles with ATP and, you know, your energy stores, which is ATP, but yeah. But when my arm's relaxed, that means that I don't need to tense or contract any of the muscles in my arm and shoulder. So therefore, it's way less fatigued. And it should, using this kinetic chain, automatically just whip up to this point. Using your hip, using your upper body, your arm should almost just float into this position where you can add a little bit of tension at the end, give it that full rigidity where it's got the complete resistance to, not cave in, not fatigue your shoulder, and land with a lot of power. And the last little bit is just really whipping over your knuckles, that last stage of the kinetic chain, to really transfer your power into the punch. See how my hips going first, upper body, then my arm. As opposed to got a sweat on. So I've broken down how to do this for the jab, getting rid of that jab fatigue, but I've also broken down how you do this for all the other punches, making them more efficient, plus footwork, defenses, offenses, everything you can think about in my Boxermentals masterclass. And it's free. It's linked in the description. So go click that and go get that. It's like 50 minutes of just non-stop constant value like you've just got in this video. Okay, bye.